Hello and welcome again. Welcome back to Culture Conversations with Christal. I am your host, Christal Jordan. And of course, this is Lennox and Parker. And we are doing everything that we need to do to give you guys an update on what is happening in our culture. Now, everyone knows that October is the month that we recognize breast cancer awareness, but it's strange because we have these months allocated to certain illnesses and to education and awareness. But the honest truth is, we always need to be aware of what's going on with our bodies year round. And so, although we are acknowledging that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, my next guest is an advocate for breast cancer awareness and education, and just an advocate for survivors like myself. Actually was a ovarian cancer survivor, but cancer survivors like myself and like herself across the world. She is hosting her annual Pink Awards, and it is my honor to bring up one of my friends and someone I have so much respect for all her work, her philanthropic work and advocacy in so many different areas, but specifically when it comes to breast cancer. Please help me welcome the one and only April Love.
Hi, Christal.
Hey, April, how are you?
Hey, I am wonderful. I'm in the trenches. I'm on site. I'm getting ready for the Pink Awards. So thank you for making time. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Now, first of all, we're going to thank you for, I know you're actually at the venue. The
Mhm.
award is this weekend, and you
Yes.
always have, it's always a star-studded, event. And I think that, a lot of times people get caught up in the fact that you have all these celebrities coming out and being a
Mhm.
part of it. But I want to start by talking about how did this actually happen, the mission and the vision behind the Pink Awards. Let's start there, and then we'll get to all your fabulous celebrity friends after that. So let's
Yeah.
start with the vision. Where did the Pink Awards, how did the vision for that start?
Well, I wish I could take credit for it, but it was a God thing. It's a God vision because it was started based on my own and rooted in my own journey. I was diagnosed on Christmas Eve, 2009, with stage 3, a pretty aggressive breast cancer. I had an estrogen receptor positive ductal carcinoma breast cancer. And I was on a routine visit for, I am adamant about my checkups and things of that nature, but I had never been sick since I was a baby. So not even broken a bone or anything. So I had a very proactive primary care doctor. I will always be grateful to her, Dr. Motorhar Ford over at Kaiser. And I went in for my routine, and basically she said, she wanted to schedule me for a mammogram. Now,
Mm-hmm.
mammogram, I was in my 30s at the time, so a mammogram was not on my radar, not even a blip on my radar at the time. So I was like, okay, I didn't think anything of it. She also had me check my thyroid. So she just, I thought she was just being very proactive as a doctor. So I was like, okay. So fast forward, I ended up having my appointment land in radiology land on Black Friday. And
Mm-hmm.
I am a shopper. I'm a shopper selectively. I love the holiday season. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, it's right by the mall, my appointment. So I'm gonna do this real quick, and then I'm gonna head to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically arrived for that appointment, and I handled the thing with the thyroid, and I forgot actually that I had another appointment because I'd never gone to radiology so I I was headed out, and I asked the ladies at the desk. I was like, I think I had another procedure, and they looked and they saw that I was scheduled for a mammogram, and then they looked at my age and they said, "Oh, did you feel something? Why are you getting a mammogram?" I was like, "I don't know. My doctor scheduled it for me," and almost talking me out of it, but something on the inside was like, "No, you better get this done. Go ahead, do what the doctor says in regards to checking it out." So I did it, and I thought I'd be in and out. So I went into the room. I put on my smock with all the pink ribbons. The room was, I'm talking about like Pepto Bismol up in there. It was completely pink. It was a lot of older ladies, grandmas in there. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking like, I'm definitely not going to be here long. So
Mm-hmm.
people putting the smock on, getting the procedure done, leaving out. And I thought it would be the same for me. An hour later, after and I was like, I went in there and I was like, that was my first mammogram. So I was like, this is uncomfortable. This is painful. What? So, after doing that, they basically, I was there until there was one person left. And I was like, what is happening? Is everybody else is leaving. So they wanted to actually try to see if they could press it out and do it again, because as black women, we're already very fibrous fibrous. We're fibrous cystic. We're prone to like the lumps and the bumps and things. So they wanted to see if they could kind of, get another look. And I was still there. Then I ended up being the only person in the room. Mind you, I'm like, this is not what I planned. I'm supposed to be shopping. So the radiologist wanted to see me, and they put my scan on the wall, and it was, on the mirrored wall, the lit wall. And they showed me an area, and she's like, you see this area? It's a bit concerning. And I was like, is that cancer? I was like, what is that? She can't diagnose. So basically she said, what we're going to do is follow up. And I left. I didn't think anything of it. I did call a couple people, and your family and friends are going to say, oh, it's going to be nothing. That happened to my aunt. That happened to me. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's probably not going to be anything. So moving right along, I went over my shopping, put it in the back of my mind. I ended up coming back in, and I did what they call a biopsy. At this point, they were running so many, words around me. I was like, okay, let me go to Google. So the biopsy, I had the biopsy, and weeks, a couple weeks went on. I didn't hear anything. So I was getting ready for Christmas, and I was like, okay, it's not going to, I'm still on, it's not going to be anything. Everybody's reassuring me. And on Christmas Eve of that year, I got a phone call. I had already met a breast surgeon, because that's actually who administered the biopsy. And she basically said, are you by yourself? I'm like, what? She's like, I want you. Okay. I do want to share with you. I'm like, just get to it, because at this point she's got me like, and you calling me on Christmas Eve. What is happening? Basically confirmed. She's like, it's what we thought. Because when I did get my biopsy, I did ask, because, that's a needle. That was a little uncomfortable. All of this is very new and uncomfortable. I was like, so are women? Because I'm like, I've walked in so many walks and donated at this grocery store. I'm like, are women still dying from breast cancer? And she said, yeah, every day at a record number. And I was like, okay. So she said,
well, that was reassuring.
Very reassuring. Thank you. Bedside manner is not a big thing in these hospitals. But so basically I said, when she called, she said, well, I'm very sorry to share that it is what, I suspected. And it's a pretty large, it's about the size of a golf ball, which is pretty big. I don't have the biggest boob.
Really big.
I was like, oh my God. And she said it looks contained, but you can't really, you can't really tell from just, from what she did. But the basically it ended up being a stage 3, like I said, estrogen receptor positive, hormonal ductal carcinoma, breast cancer. And then my journey began. Now I will say that I kind of, and my journey has given me so much intel with what I'm doing with the foundation. So I went into a tailspin mentally. I just went on with my life. I had Christmas, I had New Year's, they were trying to reach me. I did not, it was over a month before I followed up, because they ended up calling me from another number. And girl, you know me personally.
I do. And everyone's journey is different. And this is a very unique journey.
Very unique. Very unique.
Because I know what it feels like, not from breast cancer, but from getting, my doctor came in into the room to tell me what was, and he had tears in his eyes. So at that point, I'm like,
oh, that's warm. I love that he was.
Yeah, and scary. But I think what I would like to share with our viewers is that there's no right or wrong way to respond. And so, for you, I do know you personally, and you are you find solace in your work, as you are right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that was your comfort place. And so you eventually immediately went right back to work. Tell us a little bit about just mentally making peace with this, and then realizing, okay, I can't run from this. I need to address it. And then, so how was that after you rung in the new year? How did you actually kind of get yourself in a mental space to where you realized it was time to fight, and I'm going to be
I'll be very transparent. That did not happen quickly. I was in the trenches of work. It was the year I'd actually brought on some employees. So I wasn't really working as a contractor, as a full-on entrepreneur. So I basically, 2010 was about to be it for me. I was super excited. I had employees. I got a new office. I was in the process of doing planning when, basically this all started to happen, because I had mapped out the entire year. And what they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, So it was a side swipe, to be quite honest. I went into the traditional why me and in denial. I stayed in denial for a minute. Like I said, they did not talk to me in January. And I was working on a political campaign. We had a mayoral race. There was so many things going on at the time that I was able to be so distracted. But it told me a lot about myself. So um when she called me on the phone that day, and it was in February, the beginning of February, it's the nurse practitioner called me from another number, but I appreciate them. And she put the same surgeon on that gave me that news, who had done my biopsy. And she said, we've been trying to reach you. You know, we were supposed to start on your breast care plan before the year ended. This is stage 3. There's only 4 stages. And what happened though, what was the initial, I guess, click in my head was before we ended that call, she said, I want to ask you something and I want you to think about it. And the simple question was, do you want to live? And I was like, whoa. I was quiet. I don't know how long, but I thought about it. And that really like, it was like a slap in the face. Like, wake up, girl. You got to do something about this. And I said, you know what? I do. And from that moment on, I was very diligent about creating space for me to make decisions without everybody's opinions. I took a lot to God in prayer because God blessed everybody that's around me. I was blessed to have such a circle of support. However, none of them had been diagnosed with anything even closely related to something like this. So they were doing the best they could, because you had cousins saying, oh, cut them both off, you know, and, you know, I didn't know what I was going to do. So like, you know, I basically did a lot of research. And I had some really good friends take the meetings with me. I was an advocate from day one, because the initial oncologist that I was assigned to just wasn't warm and fuzzy. He basically, we came in there with notebooks and everything and just, you know, asking questions. We want to know, this is something they're concerned about me. I'm concerned about me. I'm still kind of dazed and confused. And he was like, don't ask all these questions. Don't even write all this down. Just do what I say. Oh, no. No. He was like, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. I do this all the time, but you've never done it with me.
Right.
So, of course, I proceeded to get an oncologist that was a lot more, I guess, somebody that resonated with me. I began my fight, and I was determined, like, this was not going to be into my death. And a lot of my colleagues around me were diagnosed at the same time. You know, I was full on in publicity at the time. So it was about 5 publicists and another girlfriend of mine, a music executive. And it was just like back to back. And it was just like, what is going on, you know? And I ended up really finding myself in this journey, if that makes sense. You know, it ended up being such a gift that changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
And the understanding of my purpose. And I was like, well, God, you have to do it like that, you know, but I mean,
he has interesting ways. I say that my journey made me a better person, made me a better mom, made me a better friend.
Yeah.
It explained to me who Christal was, you know, and I've heard a lot of people say that it's hard to understand it if you haven't gone through it. So going through that in the public eye is difficult as well. As a publicist, you and I are colleagues. We have another colleague, Didi Kosheda, piece, who actually ended up passing away from cancer after trying to do different holistic methods, and that was
stage 1. So she actually caught it early.
Yeah.
And we were around the same time, and I chose to go the traditional route and have a naturopathic. You know, I was doing it at the same time, but stage 3, I wasn't, like I said, I wanted to live.
Right.
And I just could not, you know, this cancer was doing its thing, and holistic modalities a little bit slower, you know. So, but I was doing that too, but she chose to go the natural route, and I support anybody in their journey and their decision. But she is no longer with us, God bless her soul. But yeah, I had chemo, radiation, surgery, all of it.
I want to move off of this, but I think just because I do want people to understand the journey, especially people that are supporting others. If you're in it, you don't have a choice but to learn. But if you are supporting someone, a lot of times, and I have so many girlfriends that have gone through this since you went through it.
Yeah.
The journey through to get better often is more difficult than the actual illness, you know. So when you think about
Mhm, mhm,
radiation and you think about chemo and what that does to you on a daily basis, can you talk a little bit about how did you keep your spirits up? And because it's difficult on your body, and when things are difficult on you physically, they can
mhm,
often be very trying and difficult on your mental, you
mhm,
know, health
mhm,
and how you see your life and how you see your value and how you show up. So tell
mhm,
us a little bit about the journey once you decided I want to live,
mhm,
realize this is what I have to do. And then when you get in there,
mhm.
what was that experience like for you?
Well, I can say that I oh my God, I became like I don't know. I became like this guru for myself. I mean, I was checking out. I got a naturopathic doctor. I really got into herbs, and it was really an awakening to
Mhm.
for me. Laughter was healing for me. My this pink awards that I do came out of that those pink parties I started to do. I started planning events. Like I had people that were showing up for me, that were picking me up from chemo, like trying to bring me food that I couldn't keep down. Just getting, just I would have a lot of children around me. I have a lot of godchildren. Just putting myself in a place of just being able to just understand what life is all about. I saw babies different. I heard
Mm,
music different. I laughed different. And had I not really, really understood that this is something that there was a learning in this, you
mhm,
know, I don't know that it would have been the result that it was. However, I was fortunate enough to be proactive in the moment. Not only was I getting the treatment, I was trying to live, but I saw myself on the other side of it. So I started acting like that. So people have photos of me, I'm falling asleep in chemo with the needle in my arm, getting my infusion with a laptop, planning pink parties. I started doing pink in April, and then it started doing pink in December because I started, with ACS, they say they had a campaign going on at the time, like it's another birthday. Like
mhm,
once you ring the bell, you have a new birthday. So, or when you were diagnosed. So I was diagnosed on Christmas. So I wanted to take Christmas back. I didn't want to associate it with, oh, I was diagnosed with cancer. Cause that's like, that's the time I really get to spend with family and friends. So I
mhm,
planned the Pink in December. So I was able to kind of like, from a mental capacity, almost disassociate myself from the actual disease,
mhm,
the dis-ease of the disease, which was awful. I've never been that close to death without being dead, because sometimes I was so sick, I was too sick to get chemo because it could be life-threatening.
mhm,
But I became the person, the jokester in chemo. I had the same, I would see some of my same little buddies. We were in there to getting our infusions together. And I got to radiation. The people in the cafe knew me and at
mhm,
Piedmont because I was there every day. I did radiation 48 days in a row. And I didn't, I found, like you said, you found yourself. I found my true self. My other self was what now they coined it as imposter syndrome. I felt like I had to do things a certain way
yeah,
to be successful, or I had to look a certain way, or I had to act a certain way, which led to the disease because I still was like, these people, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you're being taken for granted by clients, or you're putting yourself in these situations that are creating, little do we know, dis-ease in our body. Stress is the biggest killer of all. You know what I'm saying? It's the bad food, yes.
mhm,
Sometimes it's sedentary lifestyle. Sometimes there are genetic predispositions, but I'm telling you, stress and trying to actually live out here can
yeah,
be that thing that takes you down this rabbit hole of illness. So being able to slow down, even in that infusion chair with those toxins being pumped into my body, I was able to find some kind of solace. I was able to understand that I'm taking my life back. So I took pink back. Pink is my favorite color. And
mhm,
I didn't want to associate it with the room where, it was a painful biopsy or the painful mammogram and that you could die. No, no, pink was going to be pink again for me. Pink was going to be power. Pink was going to be my survival. And so putting my energy into those things fed me mentally. And
mhm,
I believe wholeheartedly in mind body connection. And I started to really wake up, I think, the cells that fought those cancer cells.
wow,
I had some, I really had some lows in regards to the actual physical nature of it, but my mind had changed.
Mm-hmm.
My mind changed. I knew that I was going to get through this. I'll never forget 2009 and 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they made me. And people say, you can't, how you can say that's a gift? You know, you went through that, you could have died, but I didn't die.
Yeah.
So I decided to live and not die.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I do that have brought me to this foundation, to being an advocate, to being a support for people that are diagnosed, and they are diagnosed every day, and now even younger. I have somebody, a part of our Pink Society, that's 27 years old. We have people, I've heard, some other people supporting people that are undergrads, in college, and you have a lot of mothers who find they have it and they're pregnant. So it's just so many. It's not a respect to a person, age, anything. Like, so when it touches someone, I love being that. So I wanted to create something that could be bigger and globally as a support system. God bless all the organizations that, the marches and everything, and are getting better treatment. But I want to be on the ground. I want to be what I needed in that moment. I wanted to be somebody that could say, well, hey, like my naturopathic doctor told me that I needed to watch comedies a minimum of 7 hours a week. Like, you need to laugh, you need to laugh. Exactly. Aromatherapy, going outside and taking my shoes off and getting grounded. And these are things that I was not slowing down long enough to do. I was not smelling the roses. You know what I'm saying? I was all about getting the bag, and I was all about, being out here doing my thing. And I was like, it's bigger than this. It's bigger than this. So I just feel like in that moment, my mental became something that it was supposed to be all along.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, God, if this is the vehicle that you wanted, to use to get me to from here to there, then so be it. But in the moment, I mean, like I said, and I'll be very honest, that it was a work in progress. It wasn't an immediate revelation, but when I did wake up, I was determined, like I was going to stay woke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I remember seeing a picture of you on Facebook because we're in an industry where people don't always share outside of your immediate circle what you're going through. And so I did not share, at all. I'm not originally from here, and I didn't share, but I remember seeing a picture of you on Facebook with your head shaved, with all your tribe around you.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, she must have gone through cancer and beat it. And at the time I was, in the throes of my journey and did not feel comfortable, sharing it with anyone. But I remember wanting to reach out and not really knowing how to say it in an appropriate way.
Yeah.
But just that image, was inspiring to me, because it was like, this is someone that I know, that I've, I think I'd even been invited. We had a client in common and had been invited to like one of your pink events. And so, just seeing that and seeing someone that, representation shows up in more ways than just, race and ethnicity, all those experience and things like that. And so I want to thank you just for that post. And I didn't even have probably time to read the caption, but I knew what it symbolized, and I knew that it meant she beat it, and that she was victorious. And so that inspired me to continue to fight.
Thank you for that. I will share though, girl, it took I almost called that thing off about 5 times, because one, the vanity of it all. And I was like, I don't, I was just like, as a culture, we kind of like keep our stuff secret. We kind of like, you don't tell people your business. You don't want to look weak. You don't want to do this. And overcoming that, I was just like, I just had once again, one of those awakenings. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. I just felt liberated and I wanted to do it. Then I got scared. Then and once I called, my tribe in, my family and stuff, I was like, I got to do it. They had to come in that room at that photo shoot with Drexina Nelson. I'll never forget it. And I wouldn't come out because they'd never seen me without my wig. Okay. And I'd never even worn wigs before I got sick. So it was like, I was petrified. And when I did, they came in there and actually prayed for me. One of my best friends, who to this day still works with me on the PINKAWARDS, and they prayed for me, and I broke in that moment. And when I came out of the door and the entire room saw me without the wig and not the, all the pomp and circumstance of, being the publicist, working in entertainment, lashes, doing, it
Mhm.
was like, oh my God, their eyes are watering. I was just like, you know what? This is who I am. This is
Yeah.
who I am. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was still in chemo. I
Mm.
was sick. I
Oh,
was very sick. Yeah, I had a round of chemo the day before. And
I did not know that.
yeah, yeah.
I thought you were on the other side. You know what I
No.
mean? It looked very
Mm-mm.
much
I'm
like
glad I look that way.
you did. You did. But
Mm.
listen, what a wonderful testimony, and I knew that you would deliver that. But a wonderful testimony to people,
Mhm,
and speaking things into existence and walking in faith.
mhm,
And because in that picture, I just thought that you were on the other side. So for me, that was in the middle of the water. I looked and I saw that, and I thought I can do that.
mhm.
Not knowing that you
That
were.
makes me so happy. That
I
makes me so
I
happy.
had no
That
idea
really
you were just
does.
a
Oh
few
my
steps
gosh.
ahead, you were just a few steps
Yeah.
ahead. I thought you were totally on the other side, but vision and
'Cause
faith,
mentally I was.
that's it. That's it right
Mentally I
there.
was. Yeah.
That's it. All right, so we are talking about Lennox and Parker is so excited to be celebrating this Pink Awards 2024. I have
Yay.
watched you do this for years.
Yes.
Pink in December, been to Pink in April. What is it
Mhm.
about this Pink Awards, besides the fact that you have Carl Payne and Kenny Burns hosting and a bunch of other people participating? What makes this year special to you?
Oh my God. This year is so special to me because I am finally doing this the way I've always wanted to do it under my foundation, the Pink Awards Foundation.
Mhm.
And I'm actually launching a Pink Society, and I'm making this a whole movement. And I have all these amazing, beautiful pink ladies. Some of them are 17 years away from their journey, some of them are 7 days away from their journey, some of them are still in their journey.
Mhm.
And to be able to come into this with them and have them there with me and have them become like what I am to them, to other people.
Mhm.
It's like a whole it's indescribable. It's purpose. It's like living in purpose. And this year feels so good because I know it's an award show. I know there's going to be always some great performances and great, food and beverages and social, but it's not about that.
Mhm.
And I want to drive that point home so hard because the fact that we're using this to amplify the voice of the people that are not seen,
Mhm. Mhm.
means the world to me because even though I feel like you get support, you get all of that, but we need to be seen. We need to be seen in clinical trials. We
Mhm.
need to be seen when it comes to these health disparities. We need to be seen when it comes to what we need to do to want not only eradicate but to put ourselves in a position to be well, to be well.
Mhm.
The foundation, our pillars are, of course, early detection, the basics, the everything around breast cancer, um,
Mhm.
early detection, being able to take care of our bodies and being able to fight our way through this journey and all of that, but also holistically. Because
Mhm.
when you're on the other side of this, you also have to take care of yourself. We have to come to terms with the fact that we are um, responsible and we have to advocate for ourselves. We have to take care of our mental health. We have to create community. We have to be there for one another. I mean, everybody needs to slow down and relax.
That part.
Like everybody needs to understand that I know life be life in, but you have some real choices that you can make. You
Mhm.
can be the advocate for yourself in your home, on
Right.
your job, in your business. You can be the voice of reason. You can be the voice of peace. Just because the world is chaotic doesn't mean that you have to be. And I
Right.
want this foundation to speak to all of those different pillars. I want us to start to really take back our mental health. I want to start to take back our health. I want us to start to speak up when we don't see certain things in our community. If we don't see organic food in our grocery stores, cry loud and spare not. If you see another sister who's going through any kind of thing, I don't care if, because my thing may be breast cancer, somebody else's may be domestic. violence. Somebody else's may be heart disease, whatever it is, whatever that dis-ease, whatever that thing is attacking your mental health. This is still a tribe for you. This is still community for you. And until we start to speak on things like that, like high level stuff is cool. We do want
we do that well, though. We do that specifically as Black women. We do that. We do high level.
Yeah, we do high level very well.
Because it's
repost, hashtags
to hide, really to hide whatever that disease is inside. So another commonality that we share is I remember my doctor saying to me after I'd gone through surgery, and I didn't have such a long journey because they did catch it early, and it was a different type of cancer.
That's a blessing.
You know, I was so afraid that it was going to come back. You know, you kind of live in this paranoia, like, what does this mean? And so I went for a checkup, and I was just, you know, almost in tears. And he said, well, you gotta slow down and you gotta stop stressing. And I said, I can't. And he said, well, you're gonna die. And I was like, well, you know, just very, very bluntly, if you don't stop, it's going to come back.
Right.
And that's the quickest way for it to come back, is for you to stop stressing. I'm gonna be totally transparent. That's still something I struggle with, right? So stress is something that we have to manage. But I think conversations like this, I think advocacy work in this space, like you said, the high level, we got that. I got you. I got you with the I got you with the promotions. I got all of that. What we're doing is promote, like, sis, are you good?
Right.
Some time for you. Have you gone to therapy? You know, and what does that look like? So before we let you go, we want to talk about where people can find.
I can talk to you all night, girl. You know how we do.
if they don't have information, I want you to give that the information for the Pink Awards out. But first, I would like you to give 3 takeaways for a woman that may be watching this, or man, just anyone watching this that's having a hard time managing what's going on in their life, because life is always going to life. Exactly. But what would be 3 takeaways that you could give for someone that's struggling to do that and needs to make some changes in real time?
Okay. Well, right off, you know, the cuff, I can say, 1, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Understand that you are human. The humanity of us all. I mean, yes, you're a superpower person. We got superpowers. We all do. But it's time for the strong friend to just understand that give yourself grace. Wow. Things happen. You make mistakes. Just get up, dust yourself off, and go after it again, whatever that is. Number 2, I would say live on purpose and in purpose. I can't say that enough, because I feel like there is a reason you were born, when you were born, in the city you were born, to whatever family you were born to or ended up with, no matter how dysfunctional, no matter how amazing, you were born on purpose and in a purpose, for a purpose. And you have to live that way. You have to know that everything, every obstacle, every struggle, every challenge that you faced and conquered were for your purpose. And the whole point is to get to it. Get to it. Don't wait. Don't say, I wish. Do it. Go after it. Yeah. Give yourself that grace and go after purpose and live in it. And I promise you, people are going to show up that need what you have to give in this world. And number 3, I'm going to say, I would love for everybody to wake up with a goal for experiencing joy every day when they breathe. When they wake up and breathe that breath of life, and you have God has honored you with another day on this earth. Understand that joy is yours. Joy is your portion. It's not something that has gone to everybody else on Instagram and has forgotten about you. No, joy is yours. And you need to understand what that joy is. Have a nice little conversation with yourself. What gives you joy? And if you look around and those things are not present in your home, in your marriage, in your workplace, completely without one apology, exit stage left and look for your joy and live in it daily.
You all know her last name is Love, and that is not by design. Yes, is April Love. April, let people know where they can support the Pink Foundation, and also if they don't have tickets yet, where they can get tickets for the Pink Awards.
Okay, I would love it. And thank you, Lennox and Parker, for supporting the Pink Awards. I appreciate it. One, you can follow me, and I'm always posting about it and talking about it on all my social platforms at ASK April Love. Ask April Love. On Instagram, I'm the most active. I'm on YouTube. And the website is thepinkawards.com. And click get tickets because we still have some. And then the Pink Awards foundation.org, the pinkawardsfoundation.org, and support what we're doing. Look at the programming that we have in 2025. We're building it out as we speak. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for partners, and we want to see you. We would love for you to be a part of our community. And it's open to anybody who wants to know more about how to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's based in birthed out of the journey of breast cancer, but we tap into everything that hopefully keeps you well.
Well, I want to say, as editor-in-chief of Lennox and Parker, we want to be a part of the Pink Foundation. So we are definitely working with you in 2025 to help just continue to push this initiative, and most of all, to help people find their joy. And I think when people come through, most people come through something difficult, it gives them new perspective.
It does.
And that I think that's undeniable. And so I want to be a part of that. Thank you so much for your time, April. I know that you have to run because you are on site at the venue.
Yes, I'm out here. I know the joy.
Yes, but I'm so proud of you. We're so we stand in solidarity with everything that you're doing, and we definitely are looking forward to an amazing Pink Awards 2024 and so much more to come.
Thank you, my sister. I love you. And thank you for this opportunity.
course.
October 12th, the Pink Awards.
October 12th, the Pink Awards. Check out the website. We've got that listed below.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you all make sure that you go over to that website, find out how, if you are in the Atlanta area, make sure you try to check out the Pink Awards. If you are not, you can always visit the website and figure out ways for you to get involved or to donate or to be involved for the programming they have coming up. This, of course, has been a very important culture conversation with Christal right here on Lennox and Parker. Stay tuned for more about Miss April Love and the Pink Awards on lennoxandparker.com. Have a great night.